Our next presenter is Dr. Yunus Ahmed. Please.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good afternoon. Hope everyone enjoy this international conference. I would like to thank Bangladesh Awami League Science and Technologies Affairs Subcommittee to organize this type of emerging conference. I also thanks our chair and co-chair who giving chance to present my current research in this session in this conference. I also thanks our audience who are waiting, also who their patience just waiting for until finishing my presentation. Now, I would like to express my current research here. My today topics is the removal of emerging contaminated from urban water, different Fenton processes, and their effectiveness. First, I would like to express myself. I am Dr. Yunus Ahmed, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Chittagong University of Engineering and Technology. Here, I already mentioned my title. Now, I would like to say something about water, importance of water. We know water is the important for all nations, and 70% of our planet cover the water, but only 3% water in the world is a fresh water, and 2/3 of this water just frozen, tracked away in a frozen glass ice, and the remaining one we just use. So in this 4 industrial revolution, if you consider this 4 industrial revolution, so this is the important thing to supply fresh and clean water for everyone, every people, because to stay people active and healthy, without water, we are not able to survive. So this is the one thing. So before starting my topics, I would like to highlight some global water scarcity. Can you imagine about 4 billion people experiences water scarcity during at least 1 month in the year? This is a one big important impact. We also have more impact, like over 2 billion people live in countries experience high water stress. Another thing is 844 million people lack access to basic drinking water sources. Another impact is here, 700 million people in the world could be displaced from their place by 2030 to intense water scarcity. Rapid industrialization or urbanization, changing the impact, quality, and amount of water sources. So if you consider this one, this water scarcity, impact of this water scarcity, so for industrial revolution, we need to more emphasize about the fresh water supply. Now, before understanding my research topic, I would like to express some common terms. These common terms is the important thing to understand my research. First one, emerging contaminated, because my topics, I highlight 2 things, emerging contaminated and Fenton process. Emerging contaminated. This emerging contaminant is containing chemical and biological contaminant, which are not easily removed by the conventional water and wastewater treatment process. So if the conventional water process, any chemical, any microbiology or any biological sample are unable, then we can say this is the emerging contaminant. And another thing is antimicrobial resistance. The resistance of a microorganism to an antimicrobial agent. It should be antibiotic, antiviral, antimalarial, or antifungal. Another thing, antibiotic resistance, the ability of a bacteria to protect themselves from the effect of antibiotics. This antibiotic who is designed to destroy them. We also express here ARB, antibiotic resistance bacteria, antibiotic resistance gene, that means ARG, AOP, advanced oxidation process, ROS, reactive oxygen species, micropollutant, and photoventon process. If we know this term, then it will be easy to understand my research. And this is the important thing in not only for our country, for every country, every developed country, if this is the one major thing at this water treatment system. Now, why antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial agents? This is the important thing here. If we see this figure, antibiotic discovery and resistance timeline, we know only 5 classes of antibiotic discovered from last 100 years. And there are some subclasses, but main 5 classes is the here. If we see here, first antibiotic discovered is 1928. It was penicillin. But after discover, within 12 years, this antibiotic already resistant. Most of these cases. And last one is the carbaphenam. It's discovered in 1985. And 1993, it was already resistance. Some cases, in most of the cases, it's discovered. So if we see from 1993 to until 2022, last 30 years, no new antibiotic discovered in the world. This is the main gap. So if no new antibiotic is discovered, what will happen? We already face COVID situation last few years. Just discover the new kits, new system to destroy this virus. We face the last 2 or 3 years, $1 million, trillion we already expend in the world. But this antibiotic resistance is the next pandemic for the world. Why? This is the next pandemic. If at this present situation, antibiotic resistance is killing 7 million people around the world every year. Can you imagine this one? If no action taken from now, the number will reach 10 million people every year. And the cost of the society will, how much? It's a $100 trillion will rise in 2050. So this is the next, this should be the next pandemic. If no other pandemic will come like COVID. Now, why this is the important thing? If we see our conventional wastewater treatment facility, this see in the conventional wastewater facility, wastewater come from the biological system, from the chemical system, all this coming through this system, and the final effluent come through. But if you see activated slush process, in this slush process, this can reduce the micropollutant, that means chemical one. But the result is very limited. If we see here, activated slush just remove maximum, average 61% micropollutant or chemical degradation is possible. But the remaining one, what will happen? The remaining one will expand the antibiotic resistance, ARB and ARG, activated slush process. But the tertiary treatment process, the disinfection process, it will inactivate the ARB, but its result is very only 3 log. 3 log, that means 99.99%. But this, now think here, what happened if not fully treated our water? If ARB are not killed completely, the residual ARB could spread the antibiotic resistance. Not only by the vertical gene transfer, but also horizontal gene transfer through the recipient, donor. If ARG not damaged completely, the residual ARG could be uptaken by the recipient other bacteria through the transformation, thus resulting the dissemination of antibiotic resistance too. If micropollutant are not degraded completely, it will affect the aquatic environment by increasing toxicity, endocrine disruption, antibiotic resistance development in microorganisms, as well as human chronic diseases. If we consider in our country, at this present Dhaka city, in our every people, when they can drink water, they must purify the water. Then after purify or after boiling the water, then they can eat or they can drink. Without boiling, without purification, nobody drink the water. Why? Because our existing system unable to completely remove the ARB, ARG, and micropollutant. If you will not treat the water, then you will face jaundice, typhoid, and others pathogenic infection. In our country, around 67% drug already resistance. What happened? If this resistance will continue go, at this moment, if you have cancer, you will be able to treatment, radiotherapy, chemotherapy. But if any antibiotic resistance will happen in your body, what will happen? Without new antibiotics, you will not be able to cure. So what is the main thing? At this moment, we have three possibilities how to overcome this one. First, we must abuse or reduce the antibiotics. But in our country, every pharmacy, if you go without prescription, you will be able to buy antibiotics. So it is need to precaution or selling system. And also we need to upgrade our wastewater treatment facility because we must degrade the ARB, ARG and micropollutant. And another thing is here, we just increase the concern. So which process do we expect? We expect one-stop process. One-stop process, what is this? This one-stop process not only degrade, inactivate ARB, but also degrade ARG and micropollutant completely. This is the main thing, main idea. I will show my result and outcome. This process is able to inactivate ARB, ARG and all the things. Here I will, which AOB process? Advanced oxidation process. Because advanced oxidation process, main thing is here, it will generate reactive oxygen species, and this reactive oxygen species will inactivate bacteria, degrade micropollutant, degrade ARG. If more reactive oxygen species generate in the system, then it will be able to inactivate or degrade all the things. But without sufficient supply of reactive oxygen species, it is not possible. So this is the Fenton process. All these three is the homogeneous process. Homogeneous process, there is a easy operation advantages, biodegradable improvement, very cheap, but they have some disadvantages. This disadvantage is a slash formation, requires neutralization for acidic pH, no reuse that a chemical. So we need to upgrade the system. We need to upgrade homogeneous to heterogeneous system. For this heterogeneous system, if we use heterogeneous Fenton system, it will possible to reduce the, it reduce the sludge, it harvests the solar system, solar light, it activate neutral solution, and it inexpensive inoculous in product will not happen here. This is the one heterogeneous process which are already synthesized and published in a different journal, very nice journal in the world. And in our research, I use this two things. One is biological contaminant and one is chemical contaminant. This biological contaminant is antibiotic resistance bacteria E. coli. It's containing E. coli PWS plasmid, harboring PWS plasmid. This plasmid also containing two resistant genes, TAT and beta-lactam gene. So our bacteria containing not only simple bacteria, it's a antibiotic resistance bacteria. It's also containing antibiotic resistance gene. And micropollutant, this 5 micropollutant are using for tested, and this tested micropollutant is already nominated chemical hazard in the world, which Federal Office for the Environment already suggest that we need to reduce or we need to ban this chemical in the world. So this, if we reduce this one or ban this chemical, it will not come in our water body. So because for time limitation, I will show my just research outcome. I also have more slides, but I will not explain here. If anybody interested, then I will show. The first outcome is here. Last 3 years, I published 3 papers. I published more papers, but this is my cover, this only Fenton process. This Fenton process, I able to remove not only 90%, it's a 6 log. That means 99.999 bacteria and ERG. And higher treatment doses required for IRG, not ERG. It also possible to in a degrade IRG. And this is the second one. Oh, this 2 journal is the #1 journal in the water research. And I also have explained. And this one, the second one is the modified Fenton process I using, because in Fenton process, this is the one demerits, it's a acidic condition. But if I using EDDS modified Fenton process, it's possible to use in the neutral solution. Now, number 3.1, this is the heterogeneous process. This is the, if anybody work in environmental side, this is the #1 journal in the ACS journal, Environmental Science and Technology. This is I using our heterogeneous Fenton process. In this process, I simultaneously remove ARB, ARG, and micropollutant. 6-log ARB is possible to remove, ARG, and micropollutant also. This is a thank everyone. If you have any question, I will explain here.